Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Shantia here. So we are back for the next season of Married at First Sight, season 13. And we have ourselves, is it four? Is it four lovely couples? I gotta double check. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we got 5. Okay, so I thought so. So we are back this season with 5 lovely couples. And as we all know, 2 of the couples split. Virginia and Eric, and Ryan and Clara split. So that pretty much summarizes that season. I didn't do the final review for the reunion, but I guess I'm glad I didn't, because turns out that, you know, we had a lot less success in the previous season. So basically, yes, Vincent and Bree were the only surviving couple of last season. So I just hope that, I don't know if it was because they were limited to their choices. I just hope moving forward the experts really hone in on their matches, and hopefully they have more of a diverse pool to pick from. So there were a couple people that showed up in this pairing this season. We're gonna get into them, who they were, that I was just kind of like, really? They're on this show? Why are they on this show? How did they make it past screening? How? So all right, so starting with, I'm going to be reviewing episode 1 and 2, just kind of talking about the couples, how I feel about the pairings thus far. So far we've had 3 weddings: Bao and Johnny, Michaela and Zach, and Merla and Gil. So I'm going to be talking about that, and then I kind of have some comments to add on from watching the unfiltered scenes, which I would highly encourage, if you guys can, like, watch the unfiltered, because it really shows you the genuine response of people behind the scenes and into what like all was ensuing during the weddings. Because, you know, this is like, it's a lot of pressure. You're in front of a lot of people, you're on camera, and so of course you're going to be and play your best self. So we're not always getting all the honest responses, but I will say when it comes to Bao and Johnny, I felt like it was all there. I felt like it was all there. So we have Bao, who's this, you know, she's cute, quirky, highly intelligent, lovely young lady here, paired with Johnny, who's the charismatic, I believe is he like a doctor or something? Something like that. But, you know, again, to me, if you were to put 2 people together in a professional matchmaking company, the 2 of them would make sense. Like, I'm like, yeah, they make sense as a pairing. They both are very similar. So that's the thing. You want to find 2 people who are very similar in some ways, but also have a few things that are definitely going to help to complement one another. And maybe it's going to help to create the polarity and the attraction in the marriage. So Bao and Johnny's wedding, so iconic. Oh my God, it's Johnny. I will never forget that line. That line was so iconic and so hilarious. I loved Bao's reaction, like the cringy moments, the laughter, but she pulled it together. And I'm really happy about that, because it just goes to show that she's committed. So Bao's thing in the past is that she's been picky. Like, she has Excel spreadsheets about how she does this and does that. So I think if you're going to pair with someone, it's going to have to be someone who has some perfectionistic qualities, because otherwise I don't think she would be able to be with them. Her reaction to Johnny's wedding gift was really interesting. You know, she was very disappointed. She didn't want to be his home and away girl. She was just very put off about him being into sports, because she wanted her Nobel Peace Prize winner, and everyone was just like gagging at that on Twitter, which it is hilarious when you watch it back. But honestly, I wasn't paying attention to that part, so I missed that, and I went to the wedding and I loved the wedding. But when I went back and watched that, it did make me feel really upset, because I'm just like, girl, like, chill. You got high standards. She's hard. She's intense. And she's actually very charismatic. What I like about Bao and Johnny is they're both very charismatic people. They're very open. So you have to be that way for this show, because you need to know how you're feeling at every moment to gauge whether this person is going to be your lifetime long partner or not. You have to know what you're feeling. And so she's very open. She's very open. And you know, Johnny has this really bright, charismatic energy. It was just like ricocheting off of him at the wedding. You know, he's very physically reactive. You just know how he's feeling, and he lets you know, and it's really fun to see the 2 of them play out together. So I like the pairing of the quirky, intense. She seems introverted, but she's actually very open. Bao with the charismatic, fun, playful Johnny. And I think it's really cool that they both have sort of trauma or even embarrassment for, you know, issues with the family dynamic. They're both going to be able to relate to each other with that. I also love how they both are very dedicated to their traditions and to their culture, and they're very open about that. Family matters a lot to them. So as far as compatibility goes, I feel like the experts hit it out of the park. Of course, we're going to see how the chemistry plays out because, you know, Johnny's more open. Like, he wanted the stage 5 clinger, which obviously is kind of a flag, but it's fine. You know, no one's going to be perfect coming on this show. No one is perfect in general. And Bao is very picky. So it'll be really interesting to see how the two of them play out together. When they read their vows, you know, I really love seeing the chemistry. The eye contact was amazing. Again, Bao might, you know, she might come off as this like really shy, introverted, but she isn't outgoing introverted. She's a very open, intense introverted. When she wants to be confident, she can pull it together. I really loved how she made eye contact with him, and I felt like, you know, in spite of her being like, oh my god, it's Johnny, at the same time she's like, oh, you know, she's interested, and in Unfiltered, she explained that as well, that she's very much committed to the process, and she was actually okay with it being him. At first it was like off-putting, but then she was okay with it afterwards and actually looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm really excited for the pair. I love the wedding, watched it over and over again, it's super iconic. Can't wait to see how the two of them play out together, and I'm loving the personality, like just so much personality. I love it. It's such a contrast to last season. So moving on to Michaela and Zach, another wedding I absolutely love. You could just see all of the emotions, all of the reaction playing out, and it kind of does, right? This is like a really spontaneous moment that's happening on TV. And so why not be super open, be super comedic about everything that's going on? Like, you have to be, because it's kind of a crazy situation, right? There's a serious undertone to everything, but you want to be playful on the outside so you can enjoy it. And I'm really loving the chemistry that's playing out between Michaela and Zach. I was loving the reactions to the vows. Maybe asking Zach if he wanted a Zach Jr. Zachary Jr. might have been a little bit too soon on Michaela's part. And in some instances, I kind of felt a little like anxious, or not anxious, cautious, because I was like, I don't know if she's quite right for Zach, because he has a sensitive, quiet side to himself, and she's more out there and very passionate. But he's confident. He's actually very confident in himself. She's very confident. He's confident. Like, when a guy is so confident that he allows the woman to be her full self, like, that's beautiful. To me, that's a truly confident, masculine guy, even if he is a sensitive guy who is open with showing his tears. So yeah, lots of chemistry playing out between the two of them. I mean, like they said, Michaela wears her heart on her sleeve, and I think Zach, again, he's just very open and vulnerable. So that's the exact kind of, I'm like, you know, forget having all these specifications. That's the #1 qualification you need to be on the show and to have a successful relationship. You have to be a very open-minded, vulnerable individual to be on this show, which is why I have kind of issues with other choices that were put in this show. So yes, I love the chemistry, love the reactions, love the energy between the two of them. Like, I loved watching their wedding over and over again. Like, everyone was just enjoying that, and I love that. They're both just enjoying their attraction, their chemistry. That's what you want to do when you meet someone. It's just like, let's play with this. Even if there might not be a lot of attraction, build it. Build it. Create that emotional intimacy right away. So, and in the Unfiltered, Michaela responded to Zach, you know, getting tearful in the elevator about meeting her, and she actually cried a little bit. So obviously, I think, you know, Zach's sensitive, quiet side definitely connects to that aspect in her. And I think another detail that I noticed is that Michaela's father was a Trekkie and a little bit of a nerd. And so I kind of get that vibe from Zach as well. Like, even though, yes, he's a very attractive guy on the outside, he's sensitive, and he's nerd. Like, he's intelligent. You know, he's into computer programming. So I kind of feel like this is just like a match made in heaven. Like, this is a Bridgerton romance that we all wanted for this season, and thank goodness. So moving on to Merla and Gil. Y'all already know. This to me was just a missed opportunity on the experts' side. Sorry if I'm being too hard. I'm just gonna say it, call it out for what it is. Merla had no reason being on this show or being picked for this. She openly emphasized how important materialism was to her. You should not be on the show. You should not be on the show because you do not know who you're going to be matched with. You do not know who you're going to be matched with. People, like, I have no problem with people enjoying their materialism, but to the point where you emphasize it as a huge part of your life, I'm a little concerned. Because I've been around people who are wealthy. They don't talk about their red bottoms and their money like that. They just enjoy it. The thing is, they just enjoy it. They don't even talk about it. So she put it in her vows. I was just like, oh no, girl. But you know what? Hey, what's good is that she showed us who she was right away. So Gil knows exactly what he's walking into. You know, Gil wanted that 90s romance. I just didn't understand this pairing. He's a blue-collar, humble firefighter who wants to enjoy life, have fun, and just enjoy his partner. And they paired him with Merla, who's like about the matching outfits and like her designer handbags, and apparently has a big heart. But the thing is, the big heart is weighted under many layers of materialism. Now, her friends seem cool. I need to know what personality aspect in Merla attracted them, because she needs to bring that out more. Because they seem cool, they seem funny, they seem chill. But her being picky about the dress, I mean, she talked about, by the way, the dress shopping scene. She didn't shop for a dress there. She had her dress pre-picked out. She had a very specific idea. She got what she wanted, which is great. You know, people who tend to go after what they want, I have a lot of respect for that. But her not being okay with the dog slobbery, the man being bold, it's just like superficial stuff. And in Unfiltered, she came off as very uncomfortable. When she was watching Bao and Michaela talking about their cute chemistry between their husbands, she looked very uncomfortable, very closed off. And she came off that way throughout the wedding. Gil complimented her 2 or 3 times, and she didn't compliment him back. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like she was just the wrong person for this experiment. And I'm just curious to see how Gil is going to react to her opposition, because he's definitely going to get some from her. So I mean, it might bring some things out of him too that he needs to learn from. I mean, if there's anything that people can get out of Married at First Sight, it's a learning process, right? It's a learning curve. So you're going to learn something. If you want to learn something about yourself, you're going to learn something. So I'm kind of curious to see how Gil's going to react to everything. But this was just a very kind of disappointing match, because I'm just like, oh, it's kind of a waste of TV. You know, I'm going to just like fast forward through this, because obviously she's set in her ways about things. And as far as pets go, I'm like, pets are beautiful. You know, when we first got our dog, you know, when we got our first dog, when I was growing up, I was like, oh, you know, dogs are kind of like a lot of work. But I don't care if my dog is in my bed. Like, I love animals. Like, they become your family. So the fact that she's so closed off to it, I'm just like, oh, girl. So, yeah. Moving on to Brett and Ryan. Actually, I think, yeah, we'll do Brett and Ryan. So I really like the pairing of the two of them. I like their energy. He gives me Cancer, and she said she was a Scorpio, right? I just kind of feel like they're going to be a good match together. Yes, it is a red flag that Ryan dated all of Houston, but we have to remember that his best friend just passed away, which means he's seeing life in a whole different light. You know, he has now decided, I want my wife, I want my family, let's get married. And so he has no problem getting in relationships, but I think the commitment aspect, he decided to kind of sign off on that, like basically say, I'm going to do this because the commitment is the first thing I'm going to give. You know, everything else is just a cherry on top. So I like the pairing of them together, and I love that they're both romantics. And then Brett talked about, you know, she loves The Notebook too, just like Ryan, and she's really into romance. And, you know, what was interesting is she said that she, in the past, has been the one to give her all, and then the men didn't commit. So The thing about that is when you truly love yourself, you're emanating it so strongly, you can't help but attract people who love themselves too. You're gonna find those people. So, you know, I think in the past, maybe Brett has just made herself available for people who just can't give the all. Like she's more of the one who's willing to do most of the work or a lot of the work in the relationship. No. Make sure he's doing his work too. Make sure he's committed to you too. So that's her thing to look for, but she's ready. You know, she's ready for this. She gives off this like very feminine, warm, motherly energy. So I'm really excited for her. I'm excited for both of them. You know, I just want to see like sparks fly and like see the chemistry grow. And, you know, she seems very open and he seems kind of reserved, but he's very honest. So I'm curious to see how the chemistry between the two of them is going to play off and how they're going to complement each other. I just can't wait to see it. So moving on to Rachel and Jose. So I'm going to say it really quick. I kind of feel bad for Rachel because Jose is a perfectionist, right? He said that women think they deserve to have things handed to them on a silver platter. So that's a huge red flag for me because if you look at the general aspect of Western society, women are very independent, probably more independent than ever. And in fact, they're so independent, it's hard to get them to be truly dependent on partners. Like that's actually the part that is needed more than ever, is women allowing themselves to be dependent on partners to stay in the relationship. So that's a totally missed part on his part, because it seems like he's just looking at and focused on the wrong things. He wants a mirror image of himself in a relationship. And I'm getting he's gotten that. I'm betting he's received that and gotten that before, and just there wasn't enough attraction to maintain the relationship. So maybe it was just too, I almost want to say like, there just wasn't enough emotion or vulnerability in the relationship because he probably attracted someone who's just like him, you know, about the building process of a business or your success or your finances. But actually, you need someone who is like bringing the feminine energy so you can have that polarity in your relationship. There's nothing wrong, you know, if you want 50-50, that's up to you. There's nothing wrong with wanting that in a relationship. However, when you say that you think that women think that they deserve everything on a silver platter, whew, that is a red flag. The thing is, Rachel's obviously a sweetheart, right? She's just finding her self-confidence. I feel really bad about this pairing because I'm just like, I just feel like she deserves someone who's going to be a lot more of a sweetheart to her, who's more in touch with their sensitive side. So I'm not seeing that from Jose at all. You know, I'm kind of getting very, what do you call that? I'm just getting a certain kind of energy from him. I'm not getting enough, like I'm getting a lot of logic from him, kind of like Ryan and Claire. Like I'm getting a lot of logic from Jose. So they can complement each other. There can be polarity created if he's willing to give a little and be open. That's why I say it was kind of a missed opportunity pairing them together, because you need people to be open-minded to be on this show, and I just don't know how flexible he's willing to be. Does he just want, like he said, he gave the experts a list and he wants them to get exactly what's on his list. Like, that's not the magic of relationships. You can want that, but there's like a magic in like, oh, what are the things that person can also bring to the relationship that I didn't even think of? Like what would make me feel very loved in a relationship? What would make me want to be committed to this person? So I'm hoping that's on the list. Rachel really seems like a sweetheart. I think it was a little bit too soon for her to sign up for this show because she's just kind of finding her confidence. And she was matched with, seems like, narcissistic partners in the past, right? She was giving a lot. They didn't give enough or at all. So I think it was a little bit too soon. I think she's only just in the beginning stages of her self-love journey. But the thing is, she signed up for the show. So girl, this is your time to shine. Speak up, step up for yourself. Like make sure you're letting it known what your needs are verbalize them, because that is how your partner is going to know that you mean it. You mean it when you say, hey, I need these, I want these needs, no, I need these needs to be met for us to be in a successful partnership. Okay, so like another thing that I noticed is that Rachel's friend made a comment. Her friend said that, what if your partner or your groom is repulsed once they see you? Repulsed? Really? Repulsed is a strong word. It's not exactly a friendly word I would use towards my friend who's nervous about their wedding. It's not very encouraging. It's not even realistic. So I think Rachel, again, might have a way, because she's such a sweetheart, of attracting people. The thing is, you know, as far as Jose wanting the 50-50 thing, Rachel's going to give that, because she's a sweetheart, compassionate, and also very independent. So she's going to give that in the relationship. He doesn't have to worry about that. I'm just worried that he's not going to be as kind to her as she deserves, or she's not going to let it be known. So we're going to see that dynamic play out between the two of them. Anyways, so that is my review for the casts, the couples, the matches of this season. I'm very excited. I feel like we're getting a lot of personality this season. I'm super excited about how everything is going to play out, and hopefully not too much negative drama. I just feel like negative drama is just a waste. You know, last season that was just too much. It's just a lot of energy. I want to see people committed. I want to see people who actually want to work on themselves be a part of the show. Like, seeing people who don't take the experiment seriously or the opportunity seriously is just, it's kind of it feels like a waste of time. So really looking forward to this season. If you guys are interested in more reviews from me, then go ahead and subscribe, like, comment down below, like, share with me your perspective. What do you think about the couples? What do you think about how the experts matched everyone? I think they had more options this season. It seems to be the case. Curious to hear about how you guys felt about the matches this season, and, you know, is it a yay or nay for you? For Merla Guild, it's probably a nay. And Rachel and Jose, we don't know. But I feel like for the other couples, they all have a really good chance to find their forever partner in this experiment of Married at First Sight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening. Bye.